Hey there guys, welcome to the stream. I'm just going to do a little bit of housekeeping and we're going to kick things off here. Make sure everything is fine, just make sure I'm online. And it looks like I'm on. Awesome stuff. So guys, welcome to this stream today. What I want to do is kind of sort of continue the series where we're looking at UWP game development using C#. We're not using Unity. We're not using any other kind of middleware editor. This particular series is interested in using .NET-based libraries and C# to basically script a game. And in a previous stream, I should have actually introduced you guys to this sort of it's hard to define the genre. So I'm taking elements of which is a kind of old game. You don't really see that game very often, where the objective is to sink your enemy's battleships on a grid-based field. But then when you consider the game Minesweeper, I'll run the program so it kind of makes a little bit of sense. You play the game Minesweeper, it's sort of the reverse of that. You're kind of avoiding the mines. You're not trying to sink certain ships, certain tiles. So with all the aesthetic out of the way, all you're doing in this game, as it will show soon, and also just to know a little bit of housekeeping, in my previous stream yesterday night, it did actually disconnect because a lot of the memory was being used. So if anything like that happens and there's still decent amount of time to go with the streaming duration, I'll come back online just to kind of restart the stream, So when this is done, we have a little bit of an agenda today. I don't think it's going to take too long to kind of get through a few things. I'm going to just move this out the way. What I want to do, I've already sorted a couple of things off screen. Do excuse me. And also, obviously, the graphics are very, what's the word, like placeholder? But to get the point across. So, let me kick things off here. So you're meeting to the screen. You see the tiles. So I haven't really 100% decided what is what. But for now, let's just consider the red tiles are the mines. And the blue tiles are the drones, right? That's kind of the theme behind this. And you want to blast the mines. So you want to match the mines with the mines and the drones with the drones. Otherwise, you will blow up a mine or something like that. I'll think of something fun in terms of the idea, but the idea is just it's a match game. That's all it is. So you have to remember where all the tiles are. You can move freely, which was one of the agenda points I put the other day. Do excuse me. What's this next agenda? Battleship Minesweeper style objective. So target ships and avoid mines. Basically, just to kind of match the tiles. And if you observe here on the game screen, if I place a tile like this, let's see what happens. If it's working. There we go. Now notice here it says -50. What I did is what I did when I programmed this is that if you mismatch the tile, then you actually lose points. But if you match the tile, then you get points. So what we're going to go through today is that I want validation as well, such that you don't override a tile you've already placed. So if I change it to a blue tile, go back to this tile that I placed the 0, the circle, it should actually give me points because it should have been the blue tile I should have placed. Let me see if that works. And as you can see, the score has incremented by 100. We're on -50, and -50 plus 100 is +50. So you actually lose -50 for every wrong move, and you actually increase in score by 100 for every correct tile placed. And the reason I kind of made it asymmetric like that is to kind of encourage the balance of risk versus reward. You're kind of rewarded a lot more than you're penalized, or not a lot more, but considerably more. You're rewarded considerably more than when you're penalized. And I suppose this kind of encourages you to continue. That's like the psychology of games. I mean, that's a different field, and that's a different stream for another day. But anyway, I've completely forgotten the field. I don't know what's what, but let's just randomly put a few tiles. So I'm going to place a tile there. Looks like I missed, because that should have been, my score's gone down to 0 now. Put another blue one. I've got 100 there. And that's the challenge of the game. You have to kind of remember. Now, obviously, cheating is very easy. You can take a screenshot. You can take a picture. So what I'm trying to do, I'm not too concerned with the simplicity or the naivety of the game just yet. I want to kind of get a nice MVP sorted. I don't want to add too many features. But how the game is now is sort of where I want to leave it. I don't really want to add any more features. I just kind of want to add different little elements that are needed to kind of present this game as an MVP, a more presentable format. Hence why, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to cross this one out because we've done the match system. We've kind of done that in the visual and in the back end. Hence why the score has been incremented and all the drawing is done. Oh, you might also remember from my last stream, I was having issues with the performance and I figured out why that was. So if you check a couple streams from this one, I think it was a video or two before this one, because I think my last stream last night was a local area network programming. So the one before that, with this particular example, it was super laggy. And that was because I was doing like a sort of recursive check. Let me just see what's going on here. I was doing a kind of a recursive check, so I was checking every row, every row, so row 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, evaluating for each slot effectively, basically. And I was doing this in various parts of the program, and this was really slowing things down. And I was also kind of reconstructing these bounding recs that hold the graphics. So I kind of cut down on all of that without breaking the game, basically. Just kind of trimmed around the framework, and now I can actually play this with significantly less lag. Excuse me. So what we're gonna do next, you know what, I think it's worth putting a timer on this. It does add a challenge. It's not particularly a feature. It's tied in nicely with the menu system, which I actually implement in XAML. I'm implementing the menu in XAML as opposed to Win2D, but more on that in a bit. So we can kind of just, do things one step at a time. Take a sip of this drink. So, a small thing, in case you're wondering. See, chocolate, I can't remember. Anyway, what are we doing here? So, let's start with the clock. Now, what I'm doing here, if I'm not mistaken, when you saw the score update and the 99 on the screen, that's actually the countdown clock. And I'm using data binding to basically tie the backend, the business logic, with the XAML. So if I were to update the clock, I don't need to specifically in the C# logic tell the UI to update. It's done via binding, if I'm not mistaken. So what I'm going to do, I do update function. I'm saying function. It's like a recurring theme in these streams. In my update class, what I'm going to do, I have this dispatcher timer called game clock, which keeps track of the clock, in-game clock, in terms of the sessions, not really pertaining to the drawing and update calls. That's done by the Win2D threads, the game threads. This is more on the UI thread, actually, the XAML thread. So what am I doing here? I'm checking the state, game set, load game window. So I want to just basically count down. So I have an initial countdown here, which I'm calling somewhere. And this is, so if you recall, at the beginning of the game, it showed all the tiles, the red and blue tiles, and then it disappeared. That's because I'm counting down from this value, which is initial value, if I can find it, is 5. And then every second, because I believe I set this dispatcher timer to tick out every second. So every second I decrement by 1, sorry. When I reach 0, then I return 0. And then if we check where we're evaluating the return value of this local function, it's up here. And then I'm basically, when it's equal to 0, I call, oh sorry, no, I don't call, but I'm setting this boolean false. So show grid tiles. So when it's false, there's some logic in my draw class, which actually tells the program stop drawing the tiles at the beginning. They have to be invisible. Okay? So we're going to kind of use this logic over here. I'm going to actually, I don't think I need to return anything in particular yet. So I'm going to just take this logic because it's quite similar. And I'm going to just update the game clock. So I'm going to be like, let's see. Game countdown clock. Let's say underscore, just so we know what's going on. And I guess we don't want to evaluate anything per se here. We just, as far as this local function is concerned, just wants to decrement the time. So if I go into score, let's get rid of the validation first. Let's do things step by step. What do we have here? There should be a game clock. I think it's this one. Let me double check out I'm in the right place. Yeah, it has a default value of 99. So we're going to go ahead and decrement that by -1 as such. And if I have data, if that is bound to the XAML, then I should see the clock actually update in terms of the visual. So I'm going to call this local function around where I'm calling this, which is up here. Let me collapse this so it's a little easier on the eyes. Let's put this here. I'm going to call that. Okay. Alright, not too bad. Let's look at that. Look, updates. I'm sure there's something. And then if this is done, what I want to do is when the countdown reaches 0, so basically, yeah, when the session is over, I mean, this is going to take a bit of time, probably. Not like over screen or something in effect of telling the game that the session is game over. What I do for now is just change the game state to title screen, which is going to have the default menu, which leads me to working on the XAML. As you can see, I have some XAML kind of, embedded onto this viewport, as well as the canvas animated control here, helping to control the bounds of the graphic. So let's see. Press tab. Let's press space instead. Yeah, sweet. So yeah, as you can see, the data binding that I did before takes care of this visual. So you didn't see me actually changing the value of this. I mean, I might have somewhere in code where it's just assigning the value itself, but I believe that's being handled via XAML binding. It's pretty cool, isn't it? So we have a bit of a clock. Again, I don't know what's what. I'm just going by guesswork here. I was wrong. -50. I was right. I got 50. 0. I was wrong. Let's change it to blue. Make it a bit more fun. And this is kind of the idea. And now you can sort of see where I'm going with this. So using our imaginations, we can add like visual cues, things to add elements of excitement, challenge. Just like in the game of Minesweeper, perhaps we can change the number. Again, this is about adding features, and I want to kind of avoid this, but just to give us a little bit of an idea what we can do with this. Maybe I can do like a little visual that says there is mines where the mines. I think that's quite fun. Yeah. And a little bit of a shameless plug, I might as well, since we're on this topic of game programming, I am offering services. If you are interested in this application, I'll just quickly show you the page. Teddy-Jimoh Studios, just part of my. I'm going to update the domain, of course. I'm using a free WordPress domain, but it just gets the idea across. Some of my info will be in the description at some point. Check it out. Anyway, let's get to things. Anyway. So what we do, the fact that we have the clock sorted, I want to, when the clock reaches 0, what I want to do is take the player back to the title screen. For now, just to give us an idea, So what I'm gonna do, because 99 is quite a high number, we don't want to really wait like 99 seconds. Let's make it more like 20 seconds just to make things a bit quick. But not too quick. Where's the scores class? Just gonna change this value to 20, make things a little shorter. Yeah, then I'm gonna probably best to put this in the update routine. So I do have here a function, a local function that checks the game state. I'm gonna expand this. So I'm checking for game state pertaining to the title screen and the gameplay session mode. So what I want to do in this case, I think it might not go amiss to have another if statement. Again, the code base is a little bit spaghetti, but this is still on the kind of realms of MVP, minimal viable project, making a prototype. As you can tell, the game is not polished. We just need to work cohesively so we can know how to polish and improve things as we go. So let's evaluate the score clock. It's statically typed, I think. So if I go to scores, game clock, let's just say I want to say less than or equal to 0, just in case we have a weird issue. It might be just like oversteps by 1 or something. So if we basically hit the end of the countdown, oops, then I want to change the game state. So let's grab this. Oh, actually, let's grab this one up here somewhere. Where's it gone? So the current game state, we can just force it to change. Just this. Change to the title screen. And I think because of the way I structured this, if we go, I'm going to see if, let me check something. In the draw in the draw class, am I doing a check for the game state? It seems I am. And if I'm on the title screen, then I'm calling this function draw pseudo 3D, which obviously is named incorrectly, to be honest. Because what I'm doing, I think it's drawing the title screen. How many references are there for this? Yeah. Oh, the pseudo to the if you notice, the background on the title screen was like a checkerboard effect, and it was like moving in a pseudo 3D fashion. That's why I named it that. So that's fine. So I can draw this. I need to also call the XAML as well at this point. So as far as the Win2D is concerned, this is fine. As far as the XAML is concerned, for the menu, I need to make sure well, first I have to create the menu. So let's see what's going on here. I'm going to check something quickly. I'm going back to regarding the game state, because all the internal values are being at the local versus mode, I think. So for example, check for movement. Yeah, so the game state has to be in gameplay mode. I don't even parse for movement. That's fine. I need that level of validation. I'm gonna fire this up. Because now, if I'm taken to the title screen after the countdown is done, then what I'll do, I'll start working in the design view for the XAML. I'll start scripting a very simple UI for the user to just kind of navigate through, to initiate a game or to maybe like exit the game, something simple. And of course, that can be expanded upon for like different modes or settings and stuff like that. And of course, later down the line, it can be improved to actually look quite nice, because this is really simple stuff here. So the only XAML really is like what you see on the side and this number here. I think this is actually just a PNG file. It's a PNG image, which it could have just been done in XAML as well. Anyway, we're working on that. Let's see what I can do here. Oh, this is hard. Okay, so I know down here, okay, last pointer there. So I'll just play the game. We only got like 10 seconds. I think that's blue. I think it goes up here, I'm not sure. I got it right, I think it goes here. No, I got that wrong. Okay, what's gonna happen? Right, so something's not correct. It doesn't seem I've been taken to the main screen. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna debug this. That's not important. Could I be returning? Okay, what's going on? Oh, of course. So I did that wrong. Sorry, guys. I'm on the title screen check. So let's just go out here. Shouldn't really be doing like this. But let's just take it out. I should really just end the program and debug and then go back or whatever. Anyway, title screen. You know what I find fascinating? The fact that this check is encapsulated here. I don't know if that's the right place to put that. I'm gonna stop the program. But then I do have a call outside of that, so I'm going to leave it because I think it's initialization logic per se or something, but it might still be unnecessary. But the core bit where I'm checking for placement or checking for movement, where has it gone? Yeah, this is, I think, for the most part. I'm just thinking where the best place to check for the score time should be. Well, this is on every update loop. Let me check this one. Yeah, this one is on that little workflow. That's the first one. Apart from this check game state, I'm not really worry about it too much. I'll go check on movement and I'll check here. What was this? So if the countdown has elapsed, then change the state. And by definition, then this will hold for false. I won't be evaluating for like keyboard A down and all this stuff. So I wouldn't have to worry about the logic here. But then what might happen is that, where am I? Up here for check game state, it will go back to, this will hold for true, and then I'll be checking for the spacebar being pressed to initiate the game. Okay, it makes sense now. Yeah, it makes sense. I changed the state. This is how I did it, okay. Okay, so I'm gonna see what's going on here. Collapse some of these local functions. I have some functionality here that's not being used, as you can see with like this check for match, I think, because this was initially going to be like a big tic-tac-toe game on a big grid, but I changed the concept because I was kind of struggling to work out not work out the logic, but I don't know, just like it seemed very like first move wins kind of thing. Anyway, I just decided on like battle to kind of fusion because it's interesting to me. I didn't take out function and it's useful as well. Gives me an idea how to go about different functionalities. So I'm going to start the game. It's quite a lot here. 2, 4, 6, and the rest there are reds, I think. So I'm going to place a few tiles. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, that didn't place. I think this one's red, I'm not sure. Still have to do the validation. Oh, sweet. So we're here. I think what's happened is because that background was kind of rotating, is rotated off center. So now you don't see anything. Either that or I'm just not rendering it properly. But this has drawn, and this is a Win2D component. So I need to make sure everything is right there. I might need to just, first thing to ascertain what's actually going on. Notwithstanding the fact that I need to actually still do the validation. Shouldn't be too hard. I think this is a bit of a priority, but I'll come back to that. Let me see, where's my draw? What's that pseudo 3? Because that is for the title screen. I might just have to reset the values or something. So I've got a pan function. Yeah, so all I'm gonna do, because I'm using a matrix 4x4 transform, I'm just gonna like reset the yaw, pitch, and roll values back to default. Reset matrix pan values, something like that. I'm just going to find the initial values. So it's yaw, pitch, roll 0, 135, 0. Okay. I just have to call this at the appropriate place. I think where the best place is to call this. It's kind of initialization logic. What's this? Initialize member. Let me see what's going on here. Update reference. I don't need to do that per se. I mean, I could trip my initializer. I don't want to do that. Another initialization boolean because I need to reinitialize the kind of like the state of the yaw, pitch, and roll variables. But again, I feel like there's a more efficient way to go about this. But for now, I'm pretty sure this would work. Hopefully. Let me see. Let's keep it simple. Reset menu. Make a public bool that I can access out scope. That will be initially false. And then let's say in the update, where was I? So when the countdown goes to 0, I need to find where to go, which I think it's here. So I change the state, I update the visual properly. On my main page reference, draw class, and then my public bool, accessed. Set that to true. And then eventually, let me just go this way. Yeah, where am I? Oh my gosh. Get rid of this. Reset to menu. So once this is done, I can set my bool to false again. So this is effectively an initialization logic. And I think the background should roll properly. I'm not too sure. If it doesn't, obviously it's a different thing to worry about. You have to reconstruct some or something. Might not be too bad. I could just run this again, just without this bit. Let me see what happens first. I could just initialize this and validate the initialize members bit so that I'm not actually loading resources. Loading resources that have already been loaded. How am I doing for time? Okay, just about half an hour. So this is the matrix 4x4. Let's get into the game. So from here to here is all red. It kind of goes down a little bit. See what I can do. Click here. The blue, about 1,000. Nice, got 1,000 score. I shouldn't have done that. Ooh, nice. So, no, it's still wrong because this is actually the gameplay graphic during the gameplay. It's not the actual the title screen graphic. I need to sort that out. So I just have to make sure. I need to just validate all the drawing. I think I know what's going on. So I'm still calling draw backgrounds. I'm still calling it, so I should validate the logic. And it's fairly simple. I mean, here I validate it via a check. Do the same here. It's just simple things. Like such. Now this only draws when I'm in 2-player mode and in gameplay mode. I'm still trying to figure out why. Maybe this was overwriting the panel. Load it up and see what's going on. Probably have to reinitialize my transform 3D effect, perhaps. So I might just encapsulate this in a local function and then just call it or something. That'll sweep. Let's go for the blue tiles. There's 4 and 1, and then towards the end, let's try that. So 1, that should be 200, 300, 400, and 1. I think this is red. I think this is red as well. Okay, cool. So we got this. Again, this is still rendering. I'm not too sure why. That's weird because I put validation. Let me check this. Unless I'm rendering it somewhere else. I'm not calling this. It's so fascinating. Okay, I want to actually make sense of what's going on. I'll check for the references. Oh, okay, I see. Because it's encapsulated here. So what's going on here, I wonder? Let's game save. Draw Studio 3D. I draw the menu. If on title screen, then I'm panning apparently. Maybe I'm just targeting the wrong graphic. Which doesn't really make sense. So I'm drawing an object in here. Let me just see if I can have a look at what's in here. These are my graphics. I'm looking at what's indexed at 1. I can't see the file path. It's quite a big graphic though. It's like 1000 by 900. So let me try something here. I mean, I do have a list of string with all the file paths, but I don't know if I can expose it here. Might be able to actually. Let me have a look. Let's see what's here. I think I'm referencing something. I'm not 100% sure. Be my resources class, but I think I'm referencing it here. I'm not too sure. Check. List a list of canvases of my sprite sheet, but that's not the file paths. And I don't think you can get the file path from here, or can you? I'm not too sure. Ah, so that's interesting. So there's a count of 2. So it's probably the tiles or something? Oh, I don't even know. I shouldn't be guessing. Wait a minute. Okay, let me not confuse myself. I'll go back. What was I? So I'm drawing from my canvas bitmap transform at 1. and I'm targeting in my rect list. Here, -140, quite big bounds. Anyway, what I'm going to do is just check the bounds in my directory. So I've got 900. Let's go here. It would be under bin, x86, debug, assets, I guess, assets. Let's see. Oh man, it would be one of these. I can't even see the file path. The little thumbnail. Just a technical issue, but I can probably just inspect it myself. And I have multiple files of the same. But then it could be this one because it's like indexed at 1, not 0. That's a bit of a guess. Let me just have a look. Oh, okay. It's just a black screen. I have a black screen actually. And this is probably actually wants to know. So index at 0, I believe. I think. And I'm implementing a pan effect. So here, oh, this doesn't make sense though. Don't start altering things that already set. I just have to be sure of what's actually being drawn. Okay, you know what? I'm so blind, yeah, so to speak. Yeah, I literally left a comment, draw black background. It's just draw the game logo. Oh, it's so funny. Okay, so black background, game logo. Where is the checkerboard? I think I know that. Actually, I don't know. The Earth graphic. That's really interesting. When I'm in gameplay mode, obviously, the matrix transform is being applied to the Earth background. But why is it I'm drawing the background, drawing the battle sweep logo, but where's the matrix transform for the actual checkerboard? I think it's this. But no, it's not drawing. Because where you pass the matrix 4x4 transform is a little different, I think. It's a different set of overloads. So I'm getting a little confused in a way. In any case, I'm going to spend one more minute on this, and if not, we'll just keep going because it doesn't really matter too much in the sense that the graphics not loading. It's something I can just fix off screen. But what matters is that we've taken the gameplay grid out of the way, and the state is on the title screen. So what I want to shift our attention to now is actually playing around with the XAML to make a little bit more of a, like a menu, like a main menu, so we can actually navigate things. So I'm just going to break something if I have to change things. So what I'll do, I'll quickly just check the state of the game, and if it's okay, I'll move on to the XAML. Still have to do the validation. I forgot about that. Otherwise, people can, players can just cheat. You can just make a wrong move and you can just overwrite it and get your score back up. And that goes for also like multiple placement of thousands. Alright. Cover this break. Here we go. It's a red there and 2 on the end. I think it's a red over here. I said 2 on the end, I think. Nice, 1100, 1200, nice. Okay, sweet. Doesn't look too bad anyway still. So let's work on like a main menu kind of thing. So if I go to the designer view, we can implement a very simple menu. I'm thinking of having the menu go across the screen rather than just this on the side. It shouldn't really even be visible at the title screen, but it should be only visible in gameplay. I'll do, just increase this. Usually I like it side by side, but I'll leave it like this for now. I'll zoom in as well. Okay, so where are we? Got my main view box. Where's the canvas? It's up here, I think. Canvas animate control on the side. I'm just trying to think how to approach this. Because we have a grid and a stack panel. I'm thinking, I mean, the XAML might get a little bit messy. But why don't we have in the grid level, let's have another stack panel. This. That main menu stack panel. Such. That's the main menu stack panel. And we can put our contents in the stack panel. So I'm going to give it a bit of a color if possible. Let's give it a name. Main menu SP for stack panel. Change the background, see if it comes up red. Can't see anything, okay. Draw it on top. To do that, I think just to make sure everything is drawing in the right order. Because this stack panel is black, so it might be just opaque. And also I didn't give the other stack panel any dimensions. So it was just effectively invisible. Let's put this here. Now we can see it. I just drew on top. So I want to give it some, define the height and width. I don't even know how much I should have here. Okay, sweet. I understand. Kinda. I don't understand 100%, but I get the gist. Width. 100. Let's play around with this. So the stack panel, grid, view box. Let's stretch out our grid. For some reason it automatically shrank, I think. So I don't really want to mess with the XAML too much because things start to break. So you know what, guys, what I'm going to do? I'm going to undo this quickly. XAML can be a little bit finicky if you don't do things too carefully. Going to get rid of that. Just do it right. Start panel. Let me just have a close look at what's going on here. So start panel still going across, that's fine. Goodness me. Okay. Reduce the opacity a little bit and change the color for sure. Let's see. What? And it comes out looking a bit gray. That kind of blends now. Like 8.8. And then I can have my menu items. So let's just start with a simple button. Like this. Let's give it a name. So let's just when you press spacebar, you start the game. So this is going to do something else, I guess. Let's say exit the game. It's very simple stuff. Exit the button. I'm going to give this a height. 80. Width. 400. Something like that. In a stack panel, I'm going to make sure the orientation is correct. Let's make it horizontal. That way the stack panel goes across. And you know what's interesting? Let's put some padding effectively. So I'll be like spacing text block. Probably better ways to add padding. I just use the margin property, but I'll use a text block for now, an empty text block. I'll increase the width to like 80. Effectively, I'm pushing this control out when I increase this text block width like this. I want to kind of center the button in the middle. And where's the stack panel? But also, I don't want it to clash with the title logo, so I'm gonna move the stack panel down. I'm gonna kind of shrink it a little bit, like this. Where's the button? Put the button in the background. Like whites, and then I give it a foreground color. Say black, and I give it a content. I'll populate the content property. So like, I just write exit. Excuse me, exit game. Let's increase the font size. I like this band script font. I keep using it for a lot of things. It's a bit. The text quite large. Like this. I don't really want the gray color. It's kind of like default Windows. In which case, let me try something here. 0.4. I'm gonna blend a little bit. That's fine for now. Something like this. And let's give the button the corner some radius. Corner radius 4. Make it the button a little bit curved. Maybe 6. Okay. There's this side panel bit. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna collapse it at first. So I'm gonna affect the visibility, and then when the game used to be a hidden property, now it's gone. It's just collapsed. Okay, anyway, and just make sure everything's still. Yeah, I was worried about that. Where's the canvas? Make sure everything else didn't basically affected the rest of the visual in a way. I'm gonna undo that actually. Don't really want to break too many things right now. the layout is pretty awful, but again, I'm just trying to get the basic idea down. Let's put a click button, or a click handler here, and I'll just exit the application. I'm not even sure what the syntax is. It should be this. I think it might be this. This might be what we could use for now. And let's give this a little whirl. The moment I already press start. So we need to obviously collapse the XAML when the game is starting, which I think is already happening somewhere. I'm not too sure about that actually. I need to check. Otherwise our button is still gonna perpetuate on the screen. We'll see how it looks. I think we're approaching the 1 hour mark if we're not already there. Yeah, no, try and keep this to like an hour, so we've got about 10 minutes. Okay, it's looking interesting. Obviously, yeah, that's fine. Oh, sweet. It looks alright actually. Obviously, it's not professional at all, but you can kind of see the. It's not the greatest because you can see where the XAML control is with this seam. But again, it's just the idea of getting this, just kind of fleshing out the menu using XAML controls to make things easier. Again, I could use Win2D and just have like change states, or I could just use XAML and press buttons. It just makes so much more sense. So exit game, and that's the game exited. Simple stuff. Yeah, that's done. Oh, sweetness. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go back. Main menu stack panel. Gonna make sure this gets collapsed when we get into the gameplay mode. Let's see how I can do this. Because I might get marshalling issues if I'm on the game thread and I'm trying to invoke UI members and stuff, so I just need to be a bit careful. In any case, let's give this a shot. Yeah, there might not be really an issue, so check game state. Expand this local function. So anytime we're on the title screen, proceed to the main menu. That's interesting. What is this? Current game state. I don't even know what that does. I'll check it out. Anyway. Page rough. Do I have access to this? No, I don't. That's interesting. I have to access in the main page itself. Do I have a dispatcher, some kind of state dispatcher timer on the main page? I don't think I have a dispatcher here, but I could probably do a check or something. Well, I could put a clock. Load game set window. Okay, let's leave that as it is. So what we can do, because I'm having access issues from XAML controls outside of this particular page, it's a bit of a workaround, I suppose. Make a dispatcher timer. Just say, I don't know, UI. Instantiate it. Set properties. So I want to check. Let's check every millisecond. Give me maybe every second. Like that. I need to hook an event. something like that. Names are too important. And I'll get the clock rolling. I'll make my poll UI function. Make it private for now. Fix the signature. So we're dealing with delegates under the hood, so we need to make sure the signature matches, kind of thing. All right, sweetness. So what this function is going to do, every time we're ticking this polling clock, we just want to check the state of the game so that we can make sure all our UI components are from collapsed. If they're collapsed, they can be visible, and vice versa, I suppose. So because as it is right now, all the XAML is just remaining on the screen, so the scores, as you saw, and it should really be like that as we're getting into this. So I actually forgot. I forgot. Where is it? Where is this? I was in the controllers. I statically typed anyway, I guess. What am I doing? Alright. So if the current state, I'll start with the menu. Main menu, what I want to do, so what's that panel to have? I think what I'm doing. Go to the main page. I want to make sure this stack panel is not showing at the side, the scores. But I do want to show the main menu stack panel. It's right here. So what's that other one called? Can't find. Where is it? Yeah, it doesn't have a name, does it? I should give it a name. I'll say like score. Actually, let's say game HUD. It's a bit general. Gameplay HUD. SP for stack panel. Gameplay HUD SP. Go back here. What am I looking for? Main menu stack panel. So if in the main menu, we want the main menu stack panel to be visible. So for the visibility property, and I set it to true. Visibility visible. If the state is the gameplay, so 2-player local devices mode, I want to actually collapse this, the XAML for the main menu, and I want to, what am I doing? Yeah, what was it? Oh, there was another XAML control, I forgot what it's called. HUD, gameplay HUD, I'm going to make this visible. And then vice versa, and to make sure this is collapsed when the main menu. That should be interesting. Now let's see what happens. So we should have the main menu in the XAML being visible and not visible at the appropriate times, if I'm not mistaken. Hopefully, if the code is sound. And we might wrap it up with that. I know I had validation to take care of, but we probably hit that hour mark. Just about. Okay, so we'll have a look at this. Let's wait for the game to load. Alright, so Yeah, there we go. It's loaded. Win2D background for the title screens there. Battle sweep, and then the XAML stuff is here. This shouldn't be showing though. I don't know why that's showing. Start the game. Okay, so yeah, we have the button disappearing, which is great. Hopefully it's not just hidden. But I think it disappeared before. I saw it on the screen and disappeared, I think, so it should be fine. And there was a bit of lag because the polling clock for the UI is every second, I think. That's why there was a bit of lag. But this should have been invisible from the start. And the clock, sorry, excuse me. And we're not seeing our graphics for some reason, so I'm going to check what's going on here. So in main menu, let's see, maybe I just got this in the wrong way around. Oh, right. I got that wrong, didn't I? Title screen, maybe that's why we had issues. I messed up. I think, go back here, I think, did I do this right? So that's title screen. Wherever I put main menu here is actually probably wrong. I don't think I have a main menu state per se. Let me see. It's worth just checking quickly. Okay, so far so good. I would have explained what was going on earlier. Anyway, I think I'm alright. Be careful with my variables. See what happens. Yeah, there we go. So the button comes back. There we go. Let's exit the game. And I'm going to run it through one more time because I want to make sure the HUD for the scores is gone at the beginning. Alright, yeah, it just took a moment because of the polling clock is quite slow. It's like 1 second ticks. So we have that there. I pressed exit on accident. Actually meant to play the game. That's really interesting. Just that visual, that psychological cue is that the button there is for me to start the game. So that's quite interesting. Anyway, guys, we have actually hit our agenda, sort of, in the sense that we have made a simple menu, albeit extremely simple, it's like one component. This is XAML based and it's something I can work on off screen and we can bounce off what I do so that we can make some more progress. We put the timer, so I cross that off. So what I should have done is validation, but we've kind of reached the hour mark, so I'm going to leave it for now. And there's an optional bit to add for extra challenge, limited moves for the tiles. I can also maybe work on some of the assets so that the menu can look a bit nicer and stuff off screen. So guys, before I wrap things up, just want to once again just kind of draw your attention to my freelance services. If you're interested in kind of what I do, hit me up. I'm always happy to talk to you guys. My page is here. There should be a link in the description. Feel free to hit me up, and I offer a range of services. I develop games, application, and SQL integrations for apps. So guys, thanks very much for tuning in today. I'm really glad to have spent some time with you guys today, whether you're watching this live or in the archive, and I bid you all a great day. God bless and have a great day. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.